through that. We do know that most of it was it seems to be at this point, southwest Missouri, Carl Junction, that area. There'll be some other small damage coming across the state of Missouri. Eldon was hit really hard. We're getting ready to head out there this morning to kind of check that out. Jefferson City, but it seemed like once we got to the Jefferson City area, for right now, we think that was the worst of it towards the end of last night. So we know that. Again, there's just a lot of people on the ground this morning. There's damage, a lot of damage to some of the state facilities here in Jeff City that we'll be dealing with. We are telling only the employees on the state level that need to come in this morning on a need basis. So that went out earlier this morning for our state employees and everything. And I know there's going to be a briefing here in the city a little later on this morning. But again, I just want to highlight all the emergency personnel that was out there last night doing their jobs in a very difficult situation for everything that occurred. So with that, I'd be glad to take a few questions if you want to ask a few questions this morning. I also have the Director of Department of Public Safety with me, the Director of SEMA's here, you got the Sheriff's here, and also the Police Department here in the Jefferson City area. But we'd be glad to take a few questions this morning on that.
Governor, how many people were killed in these storms?
We know of 3 right now. There was 3 down towards Golden City last night. We believe that they lived on the outskirts of Golden City right now. We're going to try to maybe be down in that area today. We're still trying to figure out where I'm going to be today. But we know those are the only 3 we know at this time. We know that the people have been treated. As far as I know, there's nobody missing that we know of, which is a good sign that we have. So right now, as far as we know, everybody's accounted for.
You say there's nobody missing. Are you referring specifically to Golden City or across the state?
Across the state. Across the state right now, that's what we know of at this point. But again, I want to emphasize that, we're early and, we're just getting the daylight now, trying to figure out what the damages are out there and make sure everybody's there.
And statewide, what is the ballpark of injuries?
Pardon me?
Statewide, what is the estimate of injuries?
I don't know. There's going to be multiple injuries, David. I mean, you got 20 right here in Jeff City, we know, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that's not even been to an emergency room yet or maybe going to the doctors today. So there'll be multiple injuries across the state, I'm sure.
Governor, you talked about state agencies that were damaged. Can you talk about specifically what buildings, what agencies, and what type of damage, what extent we're talking about?
I'll let the director here in a minute maybe answer those questions. We know there's several in there, and again, I think it's important to know we're just trying to get all that information right now. Right now, we know that I don't know if there's any major structural damage, but there's a lot of damage to a lot of facilities here in Jeff City.
I know that state declaration of emergency was made ahead of Tuesday's storm, but when I checked in with the Department of Public Safety yesterday, they said that no requests were made by local agencies for coordination after Tuesday's storm. Have any requests been made after overnight storms, and where is that?
Yeah, we're working with that right now. SEMA's been on top of that all night long, Director of Public Safety, and then our local law enforcement. So we're working with them all through the night this morning to see what resources they need. But one thing I want to emphasize, we're all aware of the situation. We're working together. I've told all these agencies if we need more support, we got the guard out there that we could call in if I needed to call them in. So right now we're making sure they got enough manpower to do their jobs. But I also will highlight, it's been a busy night. They've used a lot of people. So, in the next day or two, just trying to get the debris and get things controlled, make sure we secure the sites of all the damage will be important. But we'll be doing that throughout the day, make sure we have it. But we'll have the resources on the ground to make sure, people are safe and to make sure we secure areas.
I know the last time we were talking about heavy flooding in the state, you were saying that you wanted to talk with the Corps of Engineers about their priorities when it came to managing dams. Can you say how those conversations are going and if you're pleased with the direction they're taking?
We're still concerned. We're still in flood stages all over our state. We still know there's water coming out from the north up there. We're concerned about that. The Corps is well aware of our concerns, though. We've been in communications with them. As of last night, we were in communications with them for the state. So we're still concerned about that. The reason we did, the emergency declaration, too, earlier is because we've seen the flooding that was happening. We've seen that these storms were coming through. So really, we want to be prepared as much as we can be prepared. And that's why we took that initial step, because we were really afraid of a situation like this. You never know what this weather is going to do. We all know that, but we really wanted to be ahead of that and make sure we was. And I'm thankful now we done that by the recommendations, I might say, of the Director of Public Safety and SEMA both were well involved in that, helping me make that decision.
Some scary words were used as far as potentially catastrophic stuff like that last night when these warnings were coming out. We unfortunately had 3 deaths, but I mean, with the damage that we're seeing in Jefferson City, are you surprised that we don't have more fatalities? And what do you think?
Yeah, we were very fortunate last night that we didn't have more injuries than what we had, and we didn't have more fatalities across the state. And you know, when these things occur, you know, first of all, it's that warning scenario you go into where everybody listens and maybe pays a little more attention to what we used to, just because of the type of season it is here in Missouri. But one thing happened when you start getting those reports of those tornadoes touching down. You know, thank goodness there's plenty of people doing everything they could to warn people, the general public, to take safety, and a lot of people did. So we were fortunate we didn't have any more injuries we did, and we're very thankful we didn't have any more fatalities than we did, but 3's too many in situations like that. Lieutenant, you want to come back? And Director, would you like to just want to give a little update on the state buildings? Would you care what you can? Or you, Director?
Yeah. Which Director? I'm Director Sandy Carson with the Department of Public Safety, and
again, Governor Parson just giving an update on the situation across Missouri. Multiple communities hit by these tornadoes overnight.